What attracted you to the BBA Global program?
Well, I always like international issues, and this was just a great opportunity for me to work not only in international issues, but also work with students from other backgrounds and also the faculty that accompany them. So I find a great learning experience for me.
My field is intercultural relations, so for me, this is an opportunity to work with students from multiple backgrounds in a sort of a laboratory environment where we can all learn a great deal. So for me, this is a really exciting experience.
What is your main contribution to the program?
Well, I have a lot of work in international finance, and the world is truly going global. So what I try to do is take the simulation and work, and it's an international focused simulation, and also we're going to have a number of discussions separate from the simulation in which we're going to talk about some international issues. And I want to take a lot of the global changes that are occurring now, including some of the crises, and really try to set a context for them and give some rationale as to maybe what they mean for us for the future.
Bob works in a very quantitative way with numbers and graphics, and takes the students through a very rigorous quantitative analysis of what they're doing. The work that I do is on the opposite end of the scale. I work with students on the teamwork experience that they're having and using that experience to inform the way that they're going to work with their peers and with their employers and their employees throughout their careers. And together we have a very holistic program that includes both extremely rigorous academic work and also experiential learning.
What outside career or personal experiences shaped your approach to your course?
I have a lot of experience outside of academics. I started out liberal arts student, not a finance student. I was in the U.S. Army for several years. I've had my own solar energy business. I've worked in corporate world here. And so I started my doctoral studies fairly late. So I appreciate theory. Theory is applied to practice. So I'm not as theoretical as some professors are. I have an appreciation, is this stuff usable to me? So I think that sort of shapes how I approach my courses.
I have about 20 years experience working with U.S. companies moving into international markets, and particularly working with them to understand the communication challenges and differences in systems and approaches that their international partners have. And what's exciting to me about this course is that undergraduate students are getting the kind of hands-on experience working with international colleagues that most executives actually don't have.
How is BBA Global different from other academic programs?
It's an integrated program. Deidre and I work closely together, and I really think you have people that are sometimes quantitative in models, and other people are behavior. We really work from different points of view to put the students together. And I think this merging of different approaches, we have two separate courses, but there's a single program. And I think that really what really identifies us differently. Also in the simulation, the students aren't looking at separate pieces. They're putting all pieces of business together, and they have to operate and make decisions through time in a competitive environment.
The simulation creates an environment where students have to work effectively in teams, and that gives me a lot of material to work with as they encounter challenges in their teamwork. So without the simulation, my work would be much less interesting, and without the work that I'm doing on the team projects, students would learn less about the simulation.
They'd all speak at each other's throats sometimes here, because really the interpersonal stuff is very important. And that's something we don't get in a lot of finance courses. So it's a complete view of what goes on in business.
What attributes are important in a BBA Global student?
Would you take that first?
Well, I think enthusiasm and a desire to learn in a very challenging environment are the most important attributes. You can be outgoing or introverted. You can be academically brilliant, or you can be better at problem solving. Really, your personal attributes are not the most important thing. It's more a question of attitude. If you bring a desire to learn and gain a great deal from this program, you definitely will.
I'd say ambition in a good sense, that people are expending a lot of effort to come here, and I really hope they'll be looking for a payout in their future careers, that they'll be able to use this as a growth experience, and they'll find themselves both better students and, when they graduate, better managers here. So we hope they really will approach this with a very strong desire to learn and actually change how they think.
Why do you have students from different schools in different countries?
Well, it's a big world here, and people think differently here. And having students from different backgrounds, different universities, different cultures lets you learn a lot, because each culture has very strong points here, and how to communicate and work with other people is very, very important to us here. So this is, to me, the big attraction of the program.
Yeah, this is a kind of experience that your average mid-level manager in a multinational corporation really doesn't have. The experience of identifying and working through and dealing with intercultural challenges in a way that makes them successful. By the end of the program, you will have a tremendous amount of that sort of knowledge.
What advice would you give to students entering the program?
I'd say think about why they're coming here, and think through. We're going to be providing material on this blog. We're going to have syllabi, we're going to ask you to do certain things here, and this is trying to shape what you're going to accomplish here. So I really think through why you're coming here and what you want to get out of the program.
You only have 4 weeks in this program. We put a huge amount of resource material in front of you, and you have each other as resources. The sooner you begin to take advantage of those resources, the sooner you engage in the program, the more you'll get out of it. So think seriously about being willing to work hard, to deal with the difficulties that come up, and to really seize the opportunity that we're providing.
What do you think the students will get from the program as a whole?
Students will go home better people, stronger students, much better employees, and will have opportunities to use the material that they experience in this course throughout their lives. Almost every summer, a student says to me, "Wow, I finally understand my mother," or "That's what my boss last year was trying to tell me." There's a lot of useful material here.
Students very often think of themselves as finance majors or marketing majors or computer people, and I think this experience is going to get them to think in a broader sense and seeing how they have to understand and work with people, and that all the disciplines are important, and how to deal with people and how to communicate and how to lead is also important.
How to persuade, how to lead, how to be effective, how to communicate in a way that makes other people listen, how to know when not to communicate, but just to listen. All of those things make a superior employee.
How do students get feedback in the program and in your course?
They get a tremendous amount of feedback, and they also require to provide feedback. The simulation, hopefully you will all look at some of the sort of advanced stuff on the simulation. The simulation puts you through a very competitive series of business decisions, and everything is measured. A tremendous amount of information, how the team is doing and how each functional member of the team is doing. The students also must evaluate themselves twice a year, must evaluate their peers twice a year, and their team. They also put together a presentation for us, we're calling an annual report, that they've got, in effect, say what they've done, how well they've done, and what their plans are for the future. So the simulation gives them a tremendous amount of feedback, and requires them to give the feedback too.
In addition to that, the students are evaluated according to their teamwork, based on how well they've done, what they've learned, what challenges they've identified and have overcome. They also do a presentation on U.S. business culture that they research in the course of the program, and so they're evaluated both on their analytical abilities, their academic abilities, and also on their presentation abilities. So it's a very holistic course in that respect.
What are your expectations from this summer?
this summer, we have more Chinese students than we've had in the past. We also have more Austrian students than we've had in the past, and so we're fascinated by the opportunities for new dynamics that we're going to have as a result of those changes. We're looking for tremendous engagement on the part of students from all 4 countries that will be represented here.
I think we're going to get a good bit in depth on so many facets of the program, and I really think hopefully the students will be pleased with it.
Okay, thank you.